Because the next one's good. The next one's a conspiracy theory, not just one I just made up. But the next one is a conspiracy theory about Mountain Dew. And I don't know if you've heard this. I just heard of this recently. I haven't fully watched it. But what they're saying about Mountain Dew is that it has the predictable nature in that its flavors predict world events or tragic events, natural disasters, things of that nature. Now they're saying that they're labeling the flavors and the names that they use for these flavors of Mountain Dew later become natural disasters, I believe. Let's take a look at this and let's see what they're talking about. I believe this... I'm not sure if this was the guy on the Tinfoil Hat podcast, but the clip I saw was this guy on the Tinfoil Hat podcast, friend of the show, we hope, Sam Tripoli.
I guess you want to call it a theory, but it lines up with everything. So even with Mountain Dew, every time, and that's the thing, not every...
What happened why are we starting and stopping with the music? This is an interesting effect.
Every flavor correlates with every event, but it seems to be like every time they make a big push with a certain flavor, it correlates with a certain event. So they had a flavor back in 2000.
So already we've gotten to not every time. I'm just going to put that out there where we say not every time. So maybe Code Red didn't have something. Maybe he's about to prove me wrong. I don't know. What's the blue one? They came out with 3 all at once back in the day. Blue, red, and something else. Mountain Dew Piss is another one.
One called Code Red. 3 months later, 9/11 happens. That's a Code Red. Maui Burst. That's a flavor. 3 months later, guess what's happens?
Fires in Maui.
Fires in Maui. Francis Scott Key Bridge. Okay. Why did they have a flavor that released last year called Star Spangled Splash? Now, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? Francis Scott Key. So every time something happens,
but here's a problem I have with that. Or should we let it finish?
These flavors that they push out, and sometimes they're new flavors or they re-release them. They even had a flavor called Pitch Black, and I told people to watch for it. Then the IT thing
everything
happened.
shut down.
That shut down. One big blackout.
Yep.
So that's a little bit misleading there. First of all, he went from 3 months later in a couple to about a year later. So how long in advance does Mountain Dew know about these tragedies? And then the pitch black thing there, it wasn't a total blackout. That was, I believe it was Cloudflare that went down, and then it was airport operating systems. It wasn't a complete internet blackout. I was using the internet when that happened. So you can't say that it was just a blackout. It's a convenient thing to do. Now, there was another thing that I should point out here. I'm going to type in Mountain Dew conspiracy. Or just Mountain Dew. Where they're talking about the colors and the ingredients of Mountain Dew being very bad for you. And I'm also seeing, I'll show you a couple other things I see here about how Mountain Dew has had other flavors. But we're just going to quickly look this up for you. Audio listeners, take a minute to decide to think about the last time you actually drank a Mountain Dew, because that might be key to your understanding. Let's see. This is about Mountain Dew being illegal in Europe, or at least one of the ingredients.
Did you know Mountain Dew was banned in the EU? It's because it contained the ingredient brominated vegetable oil, which contains bromine. Mountain Dew uses oil-based flavorings, which don't mix well with water. Bromine helps the oils dissolve and stops them from separating. Bromine has been linked with negative skin and nervous system effects, so it's been banned as a food additive in the EU. In order to sell the drink in the EU, they made a brominated vegetable oil-free version. But at least in Ireland, the drink never gained much popularity. And since 2020, the US version also does not contain brominated vegetable oil. Did you know...
And Ireland. Oh, and Ireland. Mountain Dew Red, 1988 to 1989, a deep red fruit punch flavored soda test marketed and sold exclusively in Alabama. Do it country cool. So I'd like to know, was there a big murder massacre in Alabama after that? I don't know. The thing about the banning it in the EU, for example, with certain ingredients, knowing what we know now about everything, about the world, about conspiracies, about what we just heard, about all that Mountain Dew stuff, if we're going to say it's entirely plausible that Mountain Dew has some sort of deep state connection which predicts these pre-planned events, I guess, would we not think that the banning of Mountain Dew, could I not throw out there or posit the banning of Mountain Dew in a different place was because they wanted to stop some person from making money? I mean, if we're going this far, could we not just say that they didn't want Mountain Dew to be in Europe because of the people that would make money off of it? The European Union is extremely corrupt. Or now do we just take the European Union's word for things? That's what I'm getting at. However, I think people are missing something here on this Mountain Dew conspiracy. I think that the number one way, or the number one factor that could prove this Mountain Dew conspiracy to be true, and possibly the biggest piece of evidence that people aren't mentioning, is the fact that Mountain Dew exists at all. When was the last time you drank Mountain Dew? When was the last time you said, look at all these flavors of soda? We've got Dr. Pepper over here. We've got root beer over there. We've got vanilla Coke. We've got just a classic Diet Pepsi or Coke. I want the radioactive urine one. That's the one I want. So to me, the very idea that Mountain Dew exists is indicative that it might be a conspiracy and a CIA operation to push out theories or push out this advanced warning that they say is a very big thing in the secret societies, where they put it right in your face as a form of mockery, and then the people on the other side say their arrogance will be their downfall. The very idea that Mountain Dew exists is an anomaly. They have put out a soda since, like, what is it, from the 30s? When did Mountain Dew come out? If it takes too long, it's because I'm typing with one hand. But I believe it was originally supposed to be some sort of Mountain Dew. I put Mountain release. That's probably going to put up some disturbing results. 1948. Invented in Tennessee. Beverage bottlers Barney and Allie Hartman. So in the 40s, which I assume that the first Mountain Dew was released to predict World War II, which would have already happened, been underway, or the downfall of the Nazi regime, let's say. The very existence of Mountain Dew is an anomaly, perplexing, and indicative of a conspiracy theory. You've made a soda and continue to push it out, a soda that has so little repeat customers that it boggles the mind. The last time I worked at an office, we had I think it was a 6-pack of Mountain Dew, regular Mountain Dew, 710 milliliter bottles in our fridge. Somebody bought it for some reason. Those bottles stayed there for at least a year. Nobody's going into a fridge, seeing available drinks, whether it's coffee, water, milk, other sodas, juice, and picking the Mountain Dew. It is an endeavor. Drinking a can of it, nonetheless, a large bottle, is an endeavor that nobody wants to take on. No adult is like, I'm looking forward to drinking this bottle of Mountain Dew. The only people Mountain Dew is desired by is a 14-year-old playing video games and a morbidly obese person who is addicted to 2-liter bottles of Mountain Dew and drinking them 5 times a day in hopes of getting a TLC show. Even when I was a kid and I thought Mountain Dew was all right, I still didn't drink it very often. It was not anyone I know soda of choice. Pop de prefer. You would much prefer the Mountain Dew Code Red. They marketed Mountain Dew Code Red to teenagers who played video games. But nobody's drinking it. Nobody says, let me get a large bottle of Mountain Dew. It's disgusting. It makes your pee neon. It's twice the amount of sugar of every other pop. It tastes like the way they say Mexican beer tastes like piss. That is the Mexican piss beer of sodas, is Mountain Dew. It tastes radioactive. It feels like you're going to die when you have it. PepsiCo, please send me your other products, just not Mountain Dew. I love Pepsi, by the way. Just nobody likes Mountain Dew. Only the people you see who are literally physically stuck to their bed, it's glued to their back, the mattress, and they're drinking tons. You know those shows, is it 600 Pound Life or is it something else, where there's always a person who perpetuates the victims, the obese person's disturbing addictions? Isn't it always a relative or a spouse that perpetuates their addictions by, they bring them the McDonald's, they bring them the Hostess cupcakes, they bring them the bag of Doritos with the Pride logo on it. There's always a person that's providing them with the stuff, because this person can't go and get it themselves. Oh no. That is a naked 450-pound guy being brought the bottles of Mountain Dew to, or from, his mother. The mother is bringing Billy, who does play with the video games with a headset on because he never grew up, 4 2-liter bottles of Mountain Dew, and he is chugging them. Those are the only people who are able to consume that much Mountain Dew because they know a TLC or A&E contract is soon to follow. I'll get diabetes, but then TLC will pay for me to lose the weight and lose my diabetes, and then I'll get some extra money, and I'll get to eat whatever I want when they get here, and they'll pay for it. You think that when A&E shows up, this person's not eating what they want and not eating the most and disgusting things they can possibly have? A&E, allegedly, making this up right now, A&E comes to the door with a camera crew and a garbage bag full of popcorn from the movie theater nearby. They go to the movie theater, they say, let's clear all this out, we'll take all your synthetic butter, dump it into this garbage bag, we'll take all the Mountain Dews out of the fridge, all the candy bars in the front. They bring this in a series of luggage they got at the thrift store, and Glad garbage bags, the one with the tie at the top, so you can seal in the popcorn freshness, and they dump it on this obese person on their bed, who's already in their own filth, already uses bedpans, and their mother brings them the bedpan and cleans it, a la Cartman from South Park. They dump it on them, and they say, eat this for the cameras so everybody at home can feel better about how disgusting you are and feel better about their own disgust. They don't come in with celery and V8 and say, let's start on the good stuff right away. As soon as we get here, we want to help you. They come and they say, let us see you at your most disgusting. Gain an extra 30 pounds for us to get you to lose. You'll have more screen time that way. You'll be a bigger hero if you lose 464 pounds instead of 428 pounds. So they must bring them, allegedly, again, Your Honor, hearsay, conjecture, they must bring them all this food to eat free of charge. 6 McDoubles, if you will, 6 McRibs, a fillet of fish to balance it out, to say on camera, look at the disgusting stuff he eats. And that's what Mountain Dew is. Mountain Dew is the disgusting stuff you have when nobody's looking and you're 600 pounds and you're watching TLC and you're playing Call of Duty. Not even a good video game, you're just playing regular Call of Duty because you don't have the dexterity left from the numbness in your fingers from the obesity and the diabetes to, accurately aim something or deal with the recoil. If you've got recoil in a vibrating PlayStation controller, you're done. You're dead. You can't handle that. Your bones are hanging on. They're lifting 200-pound arms every day. They're ready to shatter. If we add a vibrating function into a controller, you're done. You're paralyzed. This isn't going to work. So these morbidly obese people play Call of Duty. They have the headset on. They're calling 8-year-olds pussies. Their mom's bringing them the McDonald's and the Mountain Dew. They're chugging it. And they're emailing videos of themselves shirtless or naked in bed to TLC and A&E every day. This is the life of a Mountain Dew consumer. Every soda that is weird has a profile attached to it. You know the person who drinks Orange Crush or High C? What's the carbonated one like that? Orange Crush, an orange soda, somehow is drank predominantly by ginger children. I don't know why it works that way. It is a ginger kid who can't stop eating pizza and he wants a bottle of Orange Crush on the side. That's just how it works. Ginger kid eating pizza gets Orange Crush. Morbidly obese kid or adult playing Call of Duty gets Mountain Dew. Bland, boring person you don't really like takes the ginger ale. That's just how it works. It's not up to me, people.